All right.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mouthpiece. This is the podcast that is raw, real, and uncut. I'm your host, Manny C. And as you can see, today we have a whole different atmosphere coming to you. Before, this was just audio, and now it's visual. And we got pretty good looking faces to start off doing the visual aspect of it, right? So, I'm really happy to be here today. I think I'm surrounded by people that are very talented, very creative, very insightful. And my motto, and Mondo knows this, it's always iron sharpens iron.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah, that's facts.
I've always said that from day one. Because at the end of the day, it's about who you surround yourself with. And when it's people that are sharp, you become sharp. And I'm truly privileged because they're doing their own thing. But yet here we are today as a collective. And that's what it's about, y'all. So who wants to join? That's the first question. Second of all, man, Color Studios.
Hey, yo, we're here at Color Studios.
Here at Color Studios with my boy, the president, Mondo.
Thank you, everybody.
Man, as you guys know, he had a pretty live event about, 2 weeks ago? The beginning of the month?
Yeah, it was at the beginning of the month, June 5th.
Yes, so it happened amongst these corridors, but the one that made it happen is my boy over here, Mr. You Know.
Let's go.
And he's the one who put in the cream on the crop type of mix, you know what I'm saying? So my boy over here, man, Mr. You Know, it's a privilege here too to be with you, man. How you doing?
Shout out, man. Appreciate the love. I love the energy already, man. This is dope.
This is what it's about, you know what I mean? Here we are today, and we're gonna interview these two. I don't usually interview, but I think it's worth it to pretty much pick the brain of these people that are creating things that are impacting not only their lives but the people around them as well. Because it's kind of like a catalyst type of thing, you know what I mean? You ignite the fire and that spreads. So I always said it, bro. Color Studios is the cradle of creatives.
We're trying, we're doing our best.
Tell us about how you came about doing what you're doing now, and why did that inspire you to inspire others?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been really natural, dude. Like, just organically.
Oh shit.
We got Siri joining us. Like the studio side or the event side of things?
Just everything in general, fam. Yeah, because I think like that
Yeah.
event kind of like compiles to your whole trajectory, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I think was super dope about the event. It was like everything coming full circle. You know what I mean? Having everybody in one place at one time. Because like when I grew up, I didn't do photography or videography. I did painting. You know, I did drawing actually specifically, and I always loved that shit. You know,
Drawing, bro?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
I didn't even know that.
You learn something new every day.
That shit was like my passion, you know. And to see like to be around artists has always been something I've always wanted to have in my life, you know. But it didn't come like it took years, you know, for that to happen.
Absolutely.
But really, it was just kind of like finding something that I could commit to, and that just happened to be videography and photography. And then from there, it was just kind of taking that leap of faith and seeing where that took me. You know, one thing I liked about photography with the camera in particular is that it opens up so many doors. Like get into places that you normally wouldn't be able to, and it's a good conversation starter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether you're looking to like earn somebody's business, or whether you're looking to make some friends, it's like you're adding value instantly. You know?
Right.
And getting the camera, and that opened up the door to traveling, and that's really what kind of took me on a trajectory of what led to Color Studios, you know. And I mean, really, I feel like Color Studios is a combination of a lot of things. It's like those traveling experiences, and in particularly hostels, you know. Yeah. When I traveled, I went to a lot of hostels, and hostels were very like this, like, you know, community driven, people coming in from all over the world, you know, and
right.
like breaking bread, going on, doing things together, and I wanted to bring that. You know, and I started with events, and then later on, the studio started, and it was kind of a incorporation of everything. But I think what's super dope was when Aaron told me about this event idea, I was like, I mean, that's dope, you know.
Right.
By then, I was pretty exhausted about events, and because I know how much work they are, and so I told him, I was like, well, you gotta, if you're gonna do this, you know, you gotta pretty much like put this together, you know what I
Right.
mean? And he did, bro. Honestly, you know what I mean? He fucking made it happen, and I was just like, I was really impressed, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, man, I could attest to that because I mean I was fortunate enough to be a part of the event too and speak to a lot of people. You know, and a lot of people that we interviewed during that time, they really, you know, kind of tied in everything in regards to the main purpose was for people here to express themselves as individuals, express themselves in their art, you know, using that as an avenue so people get to know their insight of who they are as a human being, and at the same time be inspired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That those were like the main points from everyone that I spoke to. Was pretty much like on the same page on that, which is interesting to see because how is it that so many people are like-minded?
Right, right.
How is it that so many people that are in the same place are on the same frequency?
Yeah.
That's a whole different fucking level. So, you know, you need to have someone to kind of go ding, 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 ding. You know what I mean? Catalyst around that inspire people in that sense. And I think you accomplished that, bro. Mr. You know, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself in the way, how you came to be where you're at. Why did that happen? And where do you want to go from now?
Oh, yeah. So growing up, I've always been an artist, you know, from drawing to dancing to creating. I mean, even landscaping, man. I feel like I've always been artistic in every type of way, anything I really do. Growing up, I always had a hard time in school, you know, struggling with, you know, language, math, reading. And I realized I was good at art, you know, I was good at creating things and just kind of growing as an artist. So, you know, I went from landscaping to drawing to teaching dancing to music to running an entertainment company, trying to find my niche, really. And I think, you know, barbering is really where I was able to express myself. That was my canvas, and the canvas was my clients.
Right.
So, I mean, being able to cut their hair and have my art out there walking around, that was my clientele right there, and that's how I gained my vision with the barber industry and really taking it far. I mean, I was unlicensed as a barber for like 7 years. Starting in high school, I did my senior project on how to become a barber.
Oh, really?
You know, barely even almost passing, almost graduating. I almost
Right.
didn't even graduate.
Well, they had to make you do that one test at the
Yeah,
end of the.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember when they did that. I was like, "Hey, you motherfuckers!"
So like, man, I'm over 7 years. I just built up a clientele, man, doing $5 haircuts, and I realized I was like, man, I really need to really go get my license and lock down on this and take it serious because I have a niche for it, and people, you know, they're willing to pay my worth and my value. And so, you know, once I got licensed, I wanted more out of it. I wanted to compete. I wanted to do shows. I had a bigger vision, not really knowing exactly how to go about it. And I mean, I feel like that's through my whole life. I really had a bigger vision for myself, just because I've always been underestimated, you know,
Right.
as an artist, as an individual, you know, and people didn't really see my vision, and the job is not to have them see it. You know, I have to create that for them to really believe it, and I know that as a entrepreneur, as an artist. But my whole dream was to really do big things in life and create a legacy and create a platform for different artists, because I never had that growing up.
Right.
And
Right.
I want to be that person that can give game to upcoming artists or entrepreneur, or any way I can help or bring value to somebody. You know, like we were saying earlier, man, like, you know, once you know your value and what you bring to the table, nobody can take that from you.
That's facts.
And that's where I'm at in my life, is nobody's gonna bring what I bring to the table.
Right.
You know, and I'm willing to give game away and inspire others and help motivate others, and I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I'm willing to learn and soak up game from other people. I love that. I think that's the beauty in this industry, is, you know, I think that's where we all relate, man. We all have had doubt and people who've doubted us. And so, like, you know, growing up as wanting to be an artist, it's kind of like a fantasy.
That's facts, bro.
We're taught to do a 9 to 5. We're taught to just go to school and follow everybody else, and, work for other people, but that wasn't for me. I've never saw that in my lane. Even with my dad, he owns a construction company, and he was like, "Listen, you're not gonna make it cutting hair," and I'm like, "Oh yes, I am," and that's one of the hardest working guys I know is my father.
Isn't that kind of like something that kind of propels you to try even harder when people are like, you're not going to make it or nothing's going to come out of this?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And people just don't believe in you. And they're like, nah, just stick to going to school, graduating, all that. Like,
I think that's anybody really that's like really, passionate and faithful to their vision.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like if that doesn't drive you, I don't know what else will.
Right.
Really, like you already have self-doubt and you get to a level where, if all you can do is believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like that's where I'm at is like, man, I wanted to bring something that everybody can relate in one atmosphere, one space, and that's inspiration, art, creating, inspiring, building nothing into something. You know what I mean? And me linking up. I mean, me and Armando, we've been knowing each other for about 4 years, working together, traveling. And once he got this studio, I was like, man, we can do some big things with this.
Yeah.
And create an atmosphere full of entrepreneurship, inspiration, artists, and just bring everything to the table, not just
Exactly.
videography or barbering or photography. Let's put it all in one room and watch everybody thrive.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that because like it's what we were talking about a while ago. You know what I mean? Like Mother Earth, man, already has the perfect system of giving and taking.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we all need to kind of like cooperate with one another and sharpen one another to learn what we need to learn to get what we want to be. Because if you think about it, whatever you imagine to be success, that's still a smaller picture in the grand scheme of what collective success is.
Yep.
Right.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's really what it comes down to. Like you're like, I want to go big, but you're limiting yourself. Because yet someone could teach you something you don't know that could expand that success.
Far
Well, it's
beyond
like,
that
why,
too.
why be at the top by yourself?
There's no such thing. You know what I mean?
It's weird. It's lonely. You
Yeah.
You want to bring everybody to the top with you, man. We only live one time, so it's like, why not everybody at the top and share the success together?
And there's definitely more than enough for everyone. If you think about the economical aspect of it, the majority of the people on earth live off $2 a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? That we talk about the 1%, but motherfucker, we are the 1% compared to 80% of the world. We have the privilege to fucking be creative. Other people just have the fucking challenge of being in survival.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't be creative if you're surviving, thinking about what the fuck you're gonna eat the next day.
You know what I will say though, it's crazy though. You go to some of those countries that are like living a whole different lifestyle, and some of those guys are the most creative people you ever fucking meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're constantly like solving problems.
True.
Trying to make something little, fucking maximize it.
Right.
Like think about how we were raised, right? How our parents fed us and shit.
Right.
Especially like being like Latino, it's like something like, damn, mom, like how the hell did you guys do it?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like they were getting fucking creative with it.
Yeah.
But they make it seem like
Damn, that's a good way to put it.
Right? Like creativity, they make it sound like it's a fucking luxury or that it's like specific to just like the elite, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, the way I see like 'cause people tell me all the time, like, I wish I was creative or I'm not creative, but it's like everybody's fucking creative.
They are.
You know what I mean? It's just creativity.
That's what Aaron was saying. You bring that shit to the table because you know who you are, because you tapped into your creativity.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why you know what you're bringing to the table.
Everybody got to find their niche.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me create.
Yeah.
Dope.
I also was dope about the just create, and like it's such a like broad term,
Yeah.
Like everybody's just trying to create, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's trying to create the life for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, fuck, we're not using that to our own. It's like, the Matrix. Shit, I don't even want to touch base on that, but you know how the motherfuckers like are batteries, literally. You know what I'm saying? They're being used. They're being absorbed through their creativity, their cognitive, into a bigger machine that is fucking basically just like tearing them up and creating something that is not real.
Yeah.
When we reverse that shit and we tap into our own creativity, and we fuck what anyone says because they don't believe in us anyways.
Yeah. Right. That's really where the statement comes from. Is like me growing up, man. Like I used to have so many people doubting me and hating on me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, let me create.
Oh, there we go.
Like are you worried about what I do?
Right.
You know, let me do my thing and let me create, man. If
Yes.
you don't like it, you don't need to stand behind it.
Exactly.
Because I stand behind it myself, you know?
Why do you think that is, bro? Why
Yeah,
do
I was thinking about that
Why do
right now, too.
people?
Yeah, it's weird.
So okay, there's a parable in the Bible, right? I'm not trying to go religious or anything. I read the Bible. I read a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But there's a parable in the Bible that Jesus says, "Hey, you can't be a prophet in the land that you grew up in," or something along that context.
See, that's
And so why? Because people grow up and see that, and they're like, "Oh, that's the carpenter's son." You know, he's just like the normal person, just like any of us.
yeah.
He ain't gonna get nowhere.
Right.
And then he does, and then you're like, "What the fuck?" Because you
Right.
believed in yourself.
Well, a lot of people say it's, you know, home's where the hate is. You know, a lot of people don't want to see you win because they see you, you know, you shining and you're outgrowing and you're somewhere else when they're still at the same place where they started.
Facts.
You know, and it's like, end of the day, man, you gotta be happy to see somebody win. And if they're not happy, nowadays I just like, man, you're just not happy with yourself.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? You know, like,
Exactly.
because whatever I do in my life doesn't really affect you.
Right.
And it shouldn't affect you.
Right.
You know, like you should be, you know, doing your own thing and living the life you want to. And that's where, you know, I try to always, you know, inspire people or motivate them to be like, hey, especially if I see a talent in them, you know, or a skill or a gift, I'm like, yo, man, you should really pursue that.
See, that's a talent in itself, bro. Because like you able to perceive the talent in people.
Right.
That's you mining their character. You know why I say mining? Because you're digging through all the bullshit and find the potential. Like, hey, you got fucking potential. And then you tell them, they're like, no, I don't. We're like, you do.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's from me having to find it in myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, making the mistakes, learning from them, trial and error, and trying to, you know, really push through the obstacles and the kinks and figuring out the situations where I did mess up and I had to learn from it and keep moving and keep believing in the process and the journey and keep striving to be to the bigger picture. You know?
Right. That's facts, bro.
But you know what though? It's wild though, cause like that's what makes you into who you are today though. That's the weird part.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Right.
the fucking, like you want to make it easy for some people sometimes, cause you don't want them to go through what you went through, but then it's like they don't build the character that they need to be able to pursue. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
crazy because when you first get into it,
Preach it, baby.
like I thought it
Hallelujah.
was gonna be like a quick process. Being a kid, and I was like, oh, I'll figure this out like in a year. Because when you're little, a year sounds like a long time.
A year does sound, $1 sounded like a lot of money.
Facts. But you get older, and then you're in it fucking year 5, and you're like, fuck, where are the results at?
Right.
And you get to a point where you almost think you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
Right.
like, am I the fucking crazy one?
Right.
have to
Because you're
be.
going, yeah. They say there's a very thin line between being a genius and being insane.
Yeah.
But because insane is something that's not the norm. What's the norm? The norm comes from a certain word that literally means ruler.
Yeah.
So you're measured by standards and says like, this is what you're fucking at and you should be. And when you're not within that gauge, you're not normal.
Yeah.
And so, but it really, normal is really defined by somebody. You really want to abide under someone else's creativity, what their definition of normal is? Fuck no.
Yeah.
You create that own shit for yourself.
And that's the thing, though. I will say this, too.
Can I get it, man?
The thing is, too, though, is I feel like that's why it's better. Like, the earlier you get started in your fucking journey, the fucking better, bro. Because the older you get, the more that they drill this shit in your head.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I feel like if you are just getting into this journey, like every day you're intaking all this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, I think about it now at 25, and even compared to when I was young, I was doing crazy, like 19, 20. I was taking crazy ass risks that at the time didn't seem crazy to me.
Right.
It just seemed like I'm gonna follow my gut, you know?
Yes.
And then now I'm like, damn, that was pretty fucking wild.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're happy you actually fucking
I'm
did
happy,
that.
I'm happy I had enough faith in myself at that time to do it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's important.
It's important. You gotta
It's
trust
like
yourself.
you literally, this is the way that I see it, bro. Like you were just talking about reading books and shit, right? So when you read a book, you may understand some of it and some of it you don't, but it really does go into the back of your mind, to your subconscious.
No facts.
And when you start thinking about shit like that, and you're like, oh, I remember that book that I read, like all that shit is administrating you
Yeah.
to become that, what you fucking actually read or saw. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially like, man, I don't like this about myself. I want to correct it this way. And you tell yourself that shit over and over. You're programming yourself to become that.
You're wiring yourself for reality. No facts. Bro.
And so I think that's like a key to success in a sense too. Like, you know how to be sensitive to that kind of shit and really realize like, fuck, there's more than what we were told. There's more than what, you know, we were conditioned to abide to. There is more than what reality is defined for us as. There's more to that shit. And like when you think about like the Egyptians and stuff like that, like those motherfuckers were advanced, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like they were, like they talk about you build the pyramids with the fucking rock and chisel. No, that shit has like straight right angles. Like how the fuck they make that shit with the laser? What laser? Why is there pyramids in Egypt? Why is there pyramids in Africa, which is Egypt, in Mexico, in Asia, like all these different places, bro? Everyone has a fucking pyramid.
Yo, and then like one thing on the pyramids, real quick.
That's creative too. That's creative as fuck.
Think about this shit. It's like I don't know like how they made the pyramids and shit, but like that shows like how we think. Like even when mankind does some crazy shit, there's always still people that are like, no, there's no way they didn't like. Somebody else must have built it.
Right.
Like there's a doubter.
They talk about aliens and stuff like that. Then.
Like why can't you just believe that people are fucking dope?
Right.
Like,
yes, that's facts. Like, there you go.
You could build a fucking pyramid and people still won't believe, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Leonardo da Vinci, which if I was to reincarnate, and I'm gonna ask you guys this question later on, what if there was an artist from the past that you would want to be, who would it be? If you would ask me that, it would be Leonardo da Vinci, bro. Because this motherfucker, he was a genius in his era. Like, he literally, like, he was a left-handed person. He found a way at his young age to write words backwards, and when you put it in the mirror, you could read it. Because he was left-handed, he was scared to smear the ink on his wrist.
Yeah.
And this guy, he was an engineer and an artist, bro. He figured out how to fucking get the big-ass golden bell on top of one of the cathedrals in Florence. He figured out how to fucking get that big ass ball up there, dude. Yeah. They don't know how the fuck he did it, but they know he did it.
To this day, that's crazy.
And the thing is that this fucking thing actually fell because lightning struck it back in like the 1600s. Lightning struck it and it fell and it weighed so much, and the one they put there weighs less but still weighs a whole lot. I don't remember the fucking actual weight, but.
Let me say something like this real quick on that. Dude, if fucking this man can figure out some engineering crazy. Like,
in this time with no fucking laptop.
Yeah. You can go out there and start a fucking, like a little side hustle. You know what I mean? Like you don't gotta be a fucking genius. Like if that dude has created some crazy shit, like that's what's helped me out a lot too, is like thinking to myself, like even when I doubt myself, I'll be like, bro, somebody built a fucking rocket.
Right.
You know, I can build a little studio.
Fuck
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I figured out a fucking engine. You know how complex a fucking engine is, bro?
Like, people have changed civilization completely.
So did one person invent the engine, or did everyone kind of put their part in?
I think it was the second. It was a collaboration effort.
Because that's how you make shits better, right? That's how you refine shit.
That's a good point.
You know why you refine shit? Because iron sharpens iron. Horsepower. Exactly. There you go. That's facts, though. But that's crazy, bro. How do you feel in regards to the current place that you are in right now in life?
Man, I mean, I'm a workaholic, bro. I'm never content. I can do 100 things a day, and I'm just never content. And I think I got that from my dad, man. My dad's a workaholic, and bro, like I don't know exactly where my legacy will end and how, where, but I just want to keep working and keep inspiring and keep myself motivated and keep creating. Like I just love creating, bro. Like, painting on jackets, painting on canvas, making music, cutting hair, creating videos, photo shoots, anything, bro. Like anything I can like see art out of. Like, I want to do it.
Damn, you're a good drawer, bro. I seen your shit, man. That shit is fucking talented.
Bro. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I've put a lot of time and hours and dedication into every little thing I've done. When I first started dancing, I couldn't even do a handstand or nothing. Literally going to having my own dance crew and being on TV and then teaching kids how to dance. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've put so much time into, every art that I've done. And that's why I really love hip hop, man, the 4 elements of hip hop, because literally I'm doing all of it. I create music, I dance, I do graffiti. Well, actually I used to do graffiti. Now I just, paint.
What was your
I was Skills and Casper.
There you go.
And then my B-boy name was B-boy Furious.
Okay.
When did Mr. Uno come about, actually?
I actually never heard that story.
When people started knowing, right?
Actually hella funny, bro. So actually, like when I like started getting like a little buzz and just like who I was, people would come up to me like, "Oh yeah, this person knows you," and I'm like, I don't even know who the hell that person is.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you talk? Like, I don't know who that is. And then I was like, man, I'm just that dude that your girl know, or like.
Oh,
that
yeah.
And I was like, Mr. Uno.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
dope.
through my whole life, I've met so many people like say that they know me, and I'm just like, bro, I don't have no idea who you are.
That's
Like,
pretty
it's all
sick.
love, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, so that's.
That happened to me.
funny, dude.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I've known Aaron for a few years now, like 4 years now. We've traveled all around and shit. We've been like good homies, we have a lot of mutual friends. But I don't feel like I realized how many fucking people knew Aaron, bro. So we started clubbing and going out to like bars and shit. That's when it hit me, bro.
It's safe to say he's a local celebrity.
He's a local celebrity, bro.
Yeah?
You go out and I'd be like,
Is it safe to say or what?
I'd say so. Yeah.
You gotta say yeah, bro.
He knows all the people, though, you know what I mean? Like we'll go out and
Yeah.
like, some people just come up, like, bro, who's that? I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was
That's a different level because that's happened to me before, but like my little hometown and shit. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, hey, what's up, man? You're like, oh, what's up? Yeah, that one party and shit. Like, oh, but when you go out of a fucking place where you live and they recognize you, bro, that's a different level.
The crazy part too is though, like it was when you first started coming back to Seattle, because you hadn't been down here for a minute, right?
Yeah.
And you started coming back up, and then I was like, bro, you know more people, and I've been here for fucking like a year and a half.
Shit, that's called networking. So he ain't fucking around. When he says he's got the fire in the drive, bro, he's got the fire in the
I
motherfucking
didn't believe it
drive.
until I saw it, and I could fucking attest to that.
Yeah.
shit.
Bro, I love networking, bro. Like, I feel
It's a
like
beautiful thing.
meeting people is the most important thing. Like of course, I like going out and like drinking and having a good time. But if I don't see no more value than just that, then
Yeah,
it's a
it's
waste
no
of my
point.
time.
Yep.
Like you never know who you'll meet out here.
Yeah,
Or anywhere.
that's true.
Anywhere.
I
So
mean-
it's like you
fun.
could shake hands and get. I mean, especially with Instagram, bro, and social media, it's like, why not meet somebody?
Right.
At least one person. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? You're out there promoting your stuff, and if you're serious about your business,
There you go.
you're racking up your followers, man.
Yep.
Because the one thing I know is when I go to somebody's page, the first thing I look at is their followers.
Right.
Where's their cloud at?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So and I know that's other people too. So
But it's like what I tell my boy too. So if you guys go to Mouthpiece _ MC, like I told him before, I'm like, you got to start somewhere, and sometimes you got to see ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that are successful in regards to sports, they usually see where the ball is gonna go, not where it's going.
Yep.
I like that now.
There's a quote, and it's a hockey player, and I don't even know. I don't remember that motherfucker because I really don't watch hockey. Sorry, not saying hockey sucks, but I'm just saying. Like there's a quote from a famous hockey player. He says that I don't follow the puck. I go where I know the puck is gonna go.
Yeah.
And there's some people that are on the come up too, so you can't always base it on people's clout.
Yeah.
Because in 10 years they might be bigger than you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's all about networking in the sense of what we are naturally doing, which is like-minded people just getting in the same frequency, bro. That's the beautiful thing about it. And I know like you're hella good at that because I can tell your frequency off the bat. Like this dude, like you jive with them. You know what I mean? Because it's just that essence to it. And so,
your angles, you gotta know your fuertes,
your strengths and weaknesses,
down
yeah.
on that,
Right?
you know.
Yeah, bro. I say, every person is a book.
Hell yeah.
Every person is a book, man. But fuck it, dude. And yeah, so you are a local rock star. Does anybody ever mistake you with what's his name, Jake Paul?
Oh, every day.
Damn. Do you give him autographs though?
Man,